Welcome to this week's episode of the Business of Real Estate podcast with Lynn Hoffman and Eric Johnson. Today we're joined by Brooke Hicks, who is a great agent out of the Burlington-Oakville area, and we're talking all things teams and branding. So welcome to the podcast, Brooke.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here. We were talking beforehand. You do have a team. I believe there's 7, including yourself.
7, yep.
You've been in the industry how long now? Because you look so young.
Oh, thank you.
So
That's nice.
I'm like,
Thank
okay,
you.
she have a team already,
Yeah.
but I've also seen you in the industry for a while. So you've been in how long now?
This is my 10th year.
Wow.
So I started quite young. So just out of university, I was in my 2nd year of university.
Okay.
And I got my real estate license, and I ran with it, and I didn't look back. And here we are 10 years later, which it feels like it's gone by so quickly. I will say that this market that we're in right now, I haven't been through every cycle because this is new for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But before this market, I would have said that I've seen all the cycles. But yeah, this one's new for me, so it's been 10 years.
This one's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
This is a very old cycle.
Yeah.
That's revisiting us.
You've seen this.
You've seen
this,
it.
yeah.
You've been through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's actually really a good time to be in business.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, because when you survive through this, you can survive anything.
I
The
agree.
skills that you have or the skills you're bringing to your team
I
will
agree.
set them up for success at all
I agree.
different scenarios.
Yeah. The TREB numbers, I think there was, I don't remember the exact percentage, but the amount of renewals has dropped significantly,
Oh, yeah.
which is quite interesting,
Yeah, definitely making a change to the industry.
for sure.
For sure. And I think that's, we've talked over the last year, with different people, but there does seem to be a bigger focus on teams right now. A lot of agents, especially 2025 was, and it's really weird because I would say half our agents said they had their best year ever.
In 2025?
Yeah, and
Wow.
the other half had their worst year
That's
ever.
so crazy.
Right? Yeah, as much as we saw some numbers go down, we also had some decent numbers with our brokerage. But that being said, there was still a number of people that their business didn't do so well. And I think there's, when it comes down to systems, consistency, et cetera, and that consistency, I think, is what's key.
Yeah.
We mentioned it briefly just before we started filming about the consistency in your branding.
Yeah.
But I want to go back to the teams. How long ago did you start your team, and why did you start?
Yeah. So I believe it's been about 5 years now. It was 2020 going into 2021. Mm-hmm. So I think we're coming up on 5 years. And I actually was on a team at the same time that I was starting a team. Mm-hmm. So I was quite busy from that team. So that team was the REC team. They're out of Mississauga. They're a large team, and they do quite well. So I noticed that I was too busy myself servicing people that had come to the team, and then my own brand, essentially building up my own brand, getting busy that way. So the way this team worked was they allowed you to brand yourself on the team. So there wasn't brand guidelines like how my team is. They allowed you to essentially be your own agent, have your own logo. So all the different agents had, their own logo. So I just noticed that I was getting too busy to do everything, and I will admit that I am not proficient in paperwork and the back end and all the things that go along with being a good agent.
The bane of existence of
Yes,
all realtors, right?
Yes. I will admit that I'm not strong at those forms, everything to do with that side of things. And my sister had been complaining about her job at the Weather Network for so long, and I said, you know what, why don't you come work with me? Mm-hmm. So she started as my first administrator. So when she took off all of the paperwork and back end and listings off my plate, I noticed that I was way better, way stronger of an agent, because it took away everything that bogged me down, and I was able to really just focus on my skills and what I was good at. And so that was a little bit of a eye-opener for me, even though at first I remember feeling, damn, I'm going to have to pay her a salary, and our income is not guaranteed. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't as busy as I am now. But that was my biggest, I guess, leap of faith. Not only did I want to help my sister and support her, but I remember thinking, okay, I'm going to have to work really hard because now I have a salary. I have somebody's salary to maintain. Mm-hmm. But how much that allowed me to grow, looking back, it was one of the best decisions I ever made. So agents that do everything to save a buck, I think that's the wrong approach, in my opinion. So that was the start, and then I had a girl helping me with social media. So then I had the two. And then I had another girl that was on the team that I was on. We kind of collabed and worked together, and we started shooting videos together. And I just noticed quickly that two is better than one in terms of putting out content. It's more fun. You can bounce ideas off each other. It's, as a collective, two people working together, it's just more fun. And I was better able to service my clients with, her doing a showing over here and that sort of thing. And then it kind of just rolled from there. So it got to the point where I wasn't able to really form a true team while I was on a team. So as much as that team really set me up, and I owe them a ton of gratitude, I moved brokerages, and I was like, I'm going to start my own team. So at the time, I had started my own branding. It's funny because if you scroll back like years in my real estate Instagram, you'll see the brand change many times. It goes through phases. But I hired a company, and it at the time was so expensive. Again, another leap of faith. But I thought I need to do this right instead of just playing on Canva and changing it all. And I wanted a true brand guideline. I wanted it to be recognizable. And so I hired this company to give me a brand. And they met with me. They took, it was a very serious strategy on their part with really getting to know me first rather than just putting colors together and saying, here's your brand. I wanted it to truly reflect who I am. And when that rolled out, they made me billboards, which at the time I'm like, oh my God, billboards, those are expensive, right? But they made me this whole campaign, and I followed it. And then once I started putting that out, I think that it quickly became recognizable because I was so active on social media, trying to educate, just like what you're doing. So I was big on educating people, giving people tips, and I think that slowly but surely it just attracted, they say you attract your tribe if you're authentic. And it's been, so now 5 years in, there's been obviously some turnover, just like any team. People come and people go, and people outgrow you, et cetera. But I've structured the team at this point in terms of splits and just how the team looks on an internal basis so that turnover won't happen as often. Because a lot of teams, when they're 50-50, agents feel, okay, I'm too good for 50-50. So I've structured it so that I keep them for the most part. And for the past 2 years,
Are you doing progressive splits?
So the split, so when you come on, you start on I can share it if you want.
No,
Okay,
it's totally up to you.
Yeah.
I know we talk a lot about progressive splits where they might do first so many deals that say a 50-50, then you go 60-40, 70-30. You bring in family, it's at this split or that.
Right.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
For those looking to start a team, because a lot of them just see, 50-50. And like you said, there's a lot of people that, if they're successful, they're gone.
They're gone.
They don't want to pay you 50% on everything.
Yeah. And so I realized that. And being a new team, how am I going to tell an agent, hey, join my team and give me 50% of everything you do? Right. I wasn't established enough to even have that split. So I had to offer, especially at the beginning, I had to offer very competitive splits, and I had to offer value so that they would join me, right? Yes. Eventually it turns once you become an established team and your name is more known in the industry. But at the beginning, why join Brooke Hicks' team? Who are you? It's 5 years ago. Yeah. So I offered, so it's 70-30, so 70% to the agent and 30% would come to me, and then out of that 30%, the split goes to the brokerage.
Right.
So it's not significant, and in that they would get access to support. So Shannon, who's my sister, who still works for me, marketing materials, brand guidelines, leads, and just everything that comes with a team. And then eventually, if you hit 100K GCI, you would bump yourself to 90-10. So you'd keep 90%, and then there's deal fees. So $1,000, $995, 12 times a year. and they keep their 90%. And then a lot of their deals, though, are 50-50s because the leads are provided by me.
Gotcha.
So if they do their own deal, it's 90% to them, plus a deal fee to me, $1,000. But they service a lot of 50-50. So it's mutual value where I wouldn't be able to service those leads myself at this point. I'd be working 70 hours a day. So they are able to work those leads and close them to, so 50% to me that I might not have had without them, but they get to do their own deals and keep 90%. They do pay monthly fees. So this strategy or this way I've structured the team, instead of me having the risk as a team leader, because there are some team leaders that pay for the RICO fees, pay for the TREB fees, pay for your brand, pay for everything. I've structured it where you're going to keep more of your commission, but you're going to invest. You're going to pay for all of your own stuff. You're going to pay me a monthly fee to be here. And if you have the entrepreneur mindset that I'm going to do well, the more you make, the more you keep in this way.
Yep.
Right? Whereas some people joining the business would maybe feel more comfortable on a 50-50 split, but no fees, no RICO fees, nothing out of their own pocket. They have to give 50%. But this way it attracts different mindsets.
Yeah, I think because those new agents, I find that they don't have money set aside.
Yeah.
So to pay regular fees, it's like, oh my good Lord.
Yeah, and they're not cheap. So it's about $700 after the one-time fees per year per month, and then plus the deal fees. So it's nothing crazy that I make from my team, but again, as a whole, we're able to do much more business
You build the volume
and
for
grow
it.
a volume.
Yeah.
So that's where my focus
The
is now.
problem that I've found is where the teams provide everything, including the board fees and the RICO fees and everything else. There's no real incentive there, You can get 50% of nothing is still nothing.
Yep.
So, then you're paying out all those things and you're getting nothing. So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer that there should be a split. There should be some involvement from the team member. They have
Totally.
to have some skin in that game in order for you
huge.
want to keep them. So
Totally. They have
I
to
like the way
feel
you
like,
structured this.
and
that's good.
and it turns people away too, that if they think the fees are too high, but at you get 90% of your income, but you have fees. It's way less if you look at a year's worth of income than if you were to give up 50-50, unless you're not doing business.
Yeah.
So I want the people that think and know in their soul, I'm going to do business.
Business, yeah.
And that's the thing. I think
Yeah.
agents have to understand. It's funny because when I say this to them, they go, no, I know. I go, but do you? Do you really? Is that you're a business owner? And even if you're on a team, you're a business owner.
Yes,
and you
thank
got to run
you.
the business, right?
Yes.
And so you got to,
Yeah.
everything financially, you got to track your finances as a business would. I say to people, it's very easy to get into this business. You get in, but it's also hard to realize that you are a business because you're not a brick and mortar.
Right.
I said, if you had a shop that you had to go open at 9 and close at 5, like you have to be there at a certain time, close at a certain time, you got to run reports, you got to track how much money's in the till at the beginning, at the end of the day, all these things. I go, as a business owner, you have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And, when you do not have to do any of that, when you are given everything, that employee mindset comes in.
Yes.
And to be honest, as as a business coach, somebody who's coached other businesses, is that you can't expect an employee to have the same level of passion and protection of your business as you would.
Yeah.
Because you're all in. You've
That's
got
so
skin
true.
in the game. They don't.
They don't.
Yeah.
Right? And so as a team lead, when you have a team that you're taking care of everything, they don't have any skin in the game. So it's like, but I want to go see this birthday party, or I want to go here.
Yeah.
So I'm blowing off those open houses. And you're like, I can't. This is my
Yeah.
business,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think to that point,
Yeah.
it's important they have skin in the game.
I've had some really funny conversations with people recently, and they just wanted us to have all the skin in the game and them to have nothing, like giving them free time and free this and free that. And I just said to this one chap, well, at some point you have to make an effort here. Or
Yeah.
maybe you're in the wrong business.
Yeah.
So what do you say to that person that sits in front of you and says, so Brooke, how many leads are you going to give me?
Yeah, I've actually been recently in that position.
I bet.
And it's the wrong question. If you're a new agent, it's
Yeah.
the wrong question to ask.
Mm-hmm.
It really should be, what can I do to bring value to this team, is essentially what
Exactly.
it should be.
Thank you, yeah.
And I do provide, I'll be honest, I do provide leads, but at the beginning, I am very honest with, I have, and I always have worked with investors, so I have a ton of lease listings at all times. At any given time, I have 20 lease listings. It's just my life. So I will provide lease leads, and I say the only way, because I've kind of strayed away from taking on new agents because I don't have the capacity to train at this point. The brokerage does a little bit, but it's a little tough. But if I can see the hunger in them, like how I was at the beginning of my career, and then I'll take a chance on them. But I say I am providing you lease listings or lease tenant leads, and depending on how those go, I have to trust in you and your capabilities to give you one of my clients.
Absolutely.
So I need you to show me that I am able to give you those leads.
Yeah, you need them to convert those leads. And I think
Yeah.
this is something they just think these leads fall out of the sky and they have not to convert them. But when you lose a lead, you're losing real money
Oh.
that feeds the rest of your team. So
Exactly.
do you have that conversation with them? Is there an expectation of how many leads they need to convert to completion?
Yeah, so essentially about 2 years ago maybe, I had this conversation, and all the girls that are on the team now were a part of this conversation. I've had some people leave, but it's on a reward basis. So let's say a team member brings in a couple listings. Well, they're going to be rewarded with leads back in that capacity. So a lot of what comes in, I make the decision of who it's going to go to based on location, based on demographic,
Right.
based on type of person it is. Are they upsizing, downsizing? Are they elderly? Are they first-time buyers? So a lot of
Best fit.
Best fit
Right.
is primarily number one, but I need to trust. So I have a team member that's been on the team for about a year and a half, maybe approaching 2 years now. She didn't see any of leads for the first year, but she has grown so much where I trust her now, and she doesn't let a lead fall through the cracks, because the lead I gave her a year and a half ago, I ask about them, and she knows exactly what they're up to. They're not ready to pull the trigger, but she knows what they're doing. They're on their Saturday, right? And so there's some team members that don't have that same follow-up, and it is a skill.
It is.
Follow-up is a skill.
Yes.
Just saying, hey, checking in every 2 weeks is not going to do anything. Trying to build a relationship with a client is a skill in and of itself. So this one team member does get the majority of the leads right now, just the leads that kind of just click on a listing kind of thing, a realtor.ca lead who I wouldn't necessarily call a client. So she gets a lot of the leads because I trust that she won't let them fall through the cracks. And then there's other team members that have been in the business for almost as long as I have, and have come from other successful teams, where if a client comes to me and needs to be serviced, then sometimes I'll give it to them. So I give them a client versus a lead.
Right.
So a lot of it, there's no real system, because it's so human, and everyone needs to. Some people won't click with other people, and I think I do a decent job trying to assign the right person. But a new person is not getting a lead or a listing or a buyer unless they've showed me that I can trust them. And how to do that? Well, you're going to service my lease side of my business, and if I see what in you. How I did 12 leases a month when I started. I was driving from Toronto to Hamilton to Milton back to Toronto when I first started.
Yeah.
And that type of hunger and that type of follow-up will quickly earn them leads.
Yeah.
But they got to prove themselves first.
I agree. I couldn't agree more.
We have an agent down in Niagara that I had hired that his first year, he probably did 40 to 50 leases.
Oh, that's so
and
good.
constantly asking, at the beginning, asking for help from different managers. But 2 to 3 years later, the guy's making over $250,000
So
a
good.
year. He's got all these clients, and he's traveling a bit all over Ontario, but he took such good care that they are recommending him to everybody, and then they go to purchase
Yeah.
because there's so many realtors who don't want to deal with leases, but he was all in. They're like, no, this guy's the real
Yeah.
deal. And so he's been very successful.
Yeah.
But he started with that. So yeah, that's a great place.
It
Tell
is
people.
a new agent. That is my number one piece of advice, is to, and you don't even necessarily need a team that has the lease listings. What I did was I went on Facebook Marketplace, and that is a gold mine for lease listings, everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
So I posted other agents' listings on Facebook Marketplace. And then I would get a lease tenant, and then I'd take them out and turn them into clients. And that taught me everything you need to know about real estate, because whether it's a lease or a sale, the same level of care and service and steps need to be taken. You could argue that leases are harder.
Some do, but here's the thing. Leases are a look at the future, your future business.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody leases forever. They may be leasing for 1 year or 18 months or something like that, and then they're going to purchase. And now you've already built a relationship with them if you've taken care of them. But I, too, have had several agents that this is all they've done, and now we're well over $250,000 a year. And when I'm looking to, if I get somebody gives me a lease to refer to somebody, I'm very careful who I pick.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure I give it to the person that's going to take care of them. Some are bold enough to say, I don't want it, Lynn, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, that tells me a little bit about
Yep.
your personality. Because to me, it's an opportunity.
It's totally an
And
opportunity.
you can build a decent business doing that.
You can.
I know people say, hey, it's a lot of work, not as much money as a listing, but
Do 10 a
there's
month.
also not the overhead. You
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
the overhead of a listing, right?
Yeah.
And like you said,
No.
this is still somebody's home. We're helping somebody get into a home.
Yeah.
Whether they rent or buy, doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We're helping.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal, is to help people get into their homes.
Right, because every person talks to 3 people. Like the
That's
web,
right.
the web can expand,
Yeah.
create profoundly. And then another thing I would recommend too is when you do a lease, blast it everywhere. Build your presence, because people are watching. People are seeing what you're doing, especially as a new agent. If you post, oh, I'm an agent, allow me to reintroduce myself, and then out of the gate you're posting, congrats to my client that just found their new home. Doesn't even need to say lease their new home. Just found their new home. It's still a new home. And then doing that and building trust with your sphere and the people you follow, or the people that follow you.
Yeah.
I think that's another big one, just to gain people's trust, because if you're a new agent, people want to see that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So building that, it's almost like a resume, building your resume. And I would probably say that Instagram is the platform that people will look at your resume these days in real estate. I think building that up is a big...
You just hit on another really good point, and things that I teach, I'll say to somebody, each person has approximately 280 people that they are connected with.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're not just leasing that property. You're also a megaphone now to all the 280 people they know. And they may want to buy something or sell something. So I just don't think it's smart to give up on any opportunity like that if somebody's given it. Use it to your best advantage. Maybe there'll come a day where you don't have to do them and you can give them to another person that's coming along. But still, it's a really good thing to do. So I want to say, too, on the way you built your business, it's something I always coach about. I think you do, too. Start with the administrator, then move to the marketing person. Then when you get past all that, you can go to another person on your team and then another one. You clearly know how to articulate your value to these people. That's extremely important. Some teams don't know why they're teams.
Oh, God. No,
Not some, a lot don't know why they're teams. And they don't even, if I ask them, why would I join your team? I can't get a good answer.
Yeah.
You have to know that.
Yeah.
And I think you'll hear on our podcast where we've had some of the top teams on, they all know exactly what their value is. You seem to know that as well.
Yeah.
And the other thing you touched on, which I think is remarkable, is that it's the chicken and the egg thing. I get this. Well, it's going to cost me a lot of money. Well, yeah, it will, and you'll be responsible for somebody's salary. But by doing that, it frees you up to do what you're better at. You're not supposed to be doing paperwork.
Oh, no.
You're supposed to be making it rain.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's a catch-22 there, because they think they have to do the paperwork and make it rain. And I'm going to tell them it doesn't work that well.
I was going to say to you when Brooke said that, to me, what went into my head was that how many people have you talked to that said, oh my God, I'm just thinking I have to pay their salary. But as soon as they did it, they're like, oh my God, I wish I'd
So
done it
first.
sooner.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they discovered America.
If I could
Yeah.
go
And you're all
back
good.
before, if I could go back in time, I'd hire
my
somebody
God,
right out. And
it
I know
is-
somebody who hired right out of the gate. They literally hired an assistant. They had nobody. They had no clients.
Good for them.
Right?
Good for
But
them.
they
I
knew
respect
that. In
that. They knew.
business, I needed that assistant. Like,
Yeah.
it's so true though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, because real estate, you have to wear so many different masks and hats.
Yes.
Yeah. And realistically, you can't be good at all of them. It's like the jack of all trades, master of nothing.
That's
I
right.
can't be the best social media marketer.
Nope.
And the best, like, I'm not great with the back end CRM systems, and I'm just not great at technology. But it looks like I am because I have the right people in place.
right.
It looks like I am. But my skills don't lie in those areas, and they never have. So as a business owner, I can't expect to take on I'm going to burn myself out very quickly
And have no business.
and have no business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was very important and a very pivotal time, I guess, in building the team of taking those risks. And I will admit that there has been times where I've taken other risks too that maybe aren't as slam dunk. That was the best decision I've ever made. But you kind of find your way, and if you have, a vision and you have the confidence that you know where you're going, and the right people will kind of be on that same path as you, you'll things can come up that don't always work. I mean, this past year, certain investments, didn't necessarily pay off. I tried to do this, and you come back to center, and it's not always
But
going to be the
that
slam
is-
dunk.
That is what being an entrepreneur is all about.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, and I'll say this again, a real estate agent is the most true form of an entrepreneur that I know.
Yeah.
Because you get absolutely nothing until you do everything, and then if you do a great job, you get a paycheck after everybody else is paid. So it's the truest form of entrepreneurship there is. And with that title entrepreneur comes taking risks. And if you don't take risks, you don't fail, and if you don't fail, you don't succeed. So there's a lot of people that are happy getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, and that's where they should stay
Yeah.
in some cases, because that makes them happy. The other thing I've always found is spouses can be upset when somebody decides to be an entrepreneur and,
Yep.
and do what you're doing, because it does take a big leap of faith.
It does.
So I respect you very much for taking that leap of faith and doing those things, knowing that sometimes it doesn't work. It's all
And
part of the process.
Yeah, and sometimes something that you work so hard on doesn't work, but
That's
then
right.
something else comes over here.
Yeah.
And it's important that with failed investments, or I'm going to try doing this, and you don't really see the return. I put something on my story the other day, just like I have little things that I sprinkle everywhere. Like, for example, if I show a condo, I'm going to go to the front desk and say, usually you have to go to the front desk to get the lockbox anyways, but I'm going to introduce myself and say, hey, if you ever know anybody that's like thinking of selling or buying in this building,
Oh,
I
we've
do a
heard
lot
that
of
before.
work.
Yeah.
I do a lot of work in this
Yeah.
building. And so I've been doing that for years, just because I'm nice to the people at the front desk and just like, hey, like, refer me. And somebody called me the other day, and I was like, wow, after 2 years, that strategy worked, because that's just something that, it's just like these little sprinkles, and then, because I could have thought, oh, that never works, and I'm going to stop that, but it's like these consistency, and you're farming, you send out letters to your farm, and you try for a couple of years, and you get nothing, and people will stop. But it's a consistency, and just continuing
But
to do it without seeing
It's also
results.
looking for business in places that other people don't see business.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you so many stories about my agents that had business from the lady that worked behind the croissant shop counter. But nobody else saw her as a potential client.
Yeah.
But she owned 11 other properties.
Wow.
Like it's looking and realizing, which I give you a lot of credit for, because a lot of people have to be coached on that to understand that they need to do that. It's looking for business in places that other people don't even see it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even see it or recognize it.
Yeah.
You never know what people have.
Yeah.
And being nice to staff at front desks and being nice to people, your mailman, all sorts of people, is a great source of business.
It is, like, in having your little communities outside of your work. Like, for example, I go to a personal trainer every morning, and it's like this community. So I got to know and tons of business has come from it. So everywhere I kind of go, not a vain way, oh, I'm a realtor, but you subtly, slip it in. You offer free advice. Like anytime anybody has a question, it's just like, I am just here to help. And it comes back
It
for
does.
sure.
That's a big mentality. The
Huge.
giving, and asking, and then continuing to give and provide service.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science,
No.
but it's amazing how many people miss it.
As I always say, this business, real estate and also sales, is not complicated.
No.
But I don't say it's easy, because it's not easy, because you have to be consistent and generate those relationships,
Yeah.
right? So true. I just want to finish off on the team a little bit and just talk a little bit more about your branding and the consistency. But for you, now that there's 7 people on the team, and it's interesting because you said you started the turn of 2020, 2021. That's when I started with the brokerage, so
Okay.
that's when I really started seeing you.
Oh, that's so fun.
It
Cool.
was interesting,
Nice.
right?
Yeah.
Obviously, right at the beginning. I thought you'd been established for a
Oh,
while.
that's so funny.
But in terms of growth, so for you, because I know I get teams like, oh, hey, I don't want to be the next Rob Golfi and have like 50 to 70 agents. For you, what's your goal, and how do you know when to add somebody?
Yeah, so at the
'Cause
beginning.
I think that's key, right?
Yeah,
When to add.
100%. Well, I have a couple of different thoughts here. But at the beginning, especially when I was establishing a name, I was taking anybody. Anybody that's willing to come on my team and be part of this team, because I had a vision and I wanted to be a team. So how do you have a team? You need bodies. So at the beginning, it was very different than it is now. So to establish a team, obviously I'm not taking absolutely anybody, but realistically anybody that showed interest in joining my team I would take, because it helped me build the brand of a picture. There's multiple people in the picture. They're branded a team. So then people start to associate Brooke Hicks as Brooke Hicks team now, because they see other people. So at the beginning I was way less selective than I am now, because I had to be. I couldn't be selective when I'm first starting. And so going through the past 5 years of definitely different personalities, different things that come up with it being primarily a women's team. I mean, I do have one male on the team, but primarily a women's team. Different things that have come up that I want to stray away from, different people's values that kind of clash with how I want my team to be portrayed. So I've learned a lot in just taking on anybody, and that's kind of stopped in the past couple of years, where I very much want to protect my culture. Right now my team is very close. We are very good friends. We do once a month, we do something fun. Like this month we're going to go up to the Thermea Spa, and we're just going to hang out. We get together a lot. We have a group chat, and we're all kind of friends, and we all are happy for each other. So if one person sells something, there's no jealousy or weird feelings. Everyone is just very happy and supportive of one another. I've had some people in the past really come and not want to build the brand, but rather they come with their hand out. Because I'm on your team, what are you going to give me? Essentially, as if I owe them for being on my team. And so I've seen a lot of that. And right now, and so I've just hired somebody new, and I noticed just in working with her preliminarily, I noticed that she was so big, because she came from the corporate world. So she's doing a massive career jump from AstraZeneca, global position, just very systematized and very analytical. And I know that my team is not like that. We're kind of, we flow, we're not so analytical. And so I had to have a conversation. So right before she joined, I was like, I want to have a chat with you. And I even said, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be the right fit for you, because I don't have the systems and spreadsheets and just what I think your brain needs. I don't think I can provide. So I think that there's an expectation here, and I think that that's going to fall short. And you need to understand, what you're getting into. I've noticed that you've come up with these slogans that you want to live by. Like, that's not my slogan. So we're already like this.
Yeah.
So I had to say, yes, you'll learn. You'll be a part of a great culture. Yes, there will be leads in your future. Yes, you can make a lot of money here with the structure that I've built. Like, yes, I think that you're going to, it's a good decision to be a part of this team, but to have an expectation and already have slogans that you want to go use on your social media, it's not going to work. Part of the reason you're here and in providing leads and education and just a spot on this team, your job is to build my brand for me. Your job is to run around with the exact replica of the brand guidelines and help me further this. It's a mutual value exchange. It's not you're coming here and there's a handout and you're kind of just going to get the benefits. Like, no, I expect you to help me grow my brand in being here. So it very much has to be 50-50, and both of us have to see value, not just one side. And I've gone through a ton. Maybe I won't say a ton, but there's probably been 5 or 6 that, they want to do their own thing, or they sprinkle in a little bit of yellow on their Instagram, and I'm like, it's you're this is a business. You are your own agent, so I can respect and understand that. But while you're on the team, there's guidelines, and you need to want to grow the brand and be bigger collectively, rather than taking from the team, but also trying to build your name over there. It's not a fit.
And leverage the brand.
And leverage the brand.
Much like, we will say, I know you're number 3, Max, but, for our agents, we're saying the red, white, and blue, and everybody knows the balloon, so leverage that, right? If you're the Ritz-Carlton, all these different hotels, they may have a different feel and look to it, but there's certain aspects of the brand that always remain the same. Tim Hortons, the same thing. Leverage that brand, whatever it is, right? So for you, just real quick, is there a metric where you say, hey, now I know I need to bring somebody on, or is it more by feel?
So I get messages on Instagram a lot from just like agents that want to sit down, or they want to join the team, and then I don't want to say, like, it's not a judgmental thing that I'm doing in looking kind of into them, but I know how much work it is to bring somebody else onto the team, and unless I see, like, okay, this can really grow the brand, I don't have the desire to have more bodies just for the sake of having more bodies anymore. I would rather stay a boutique team where everybody's got each other's back, everybody gets along so well, and I know that I have full trust in everyone to send anybody to a listing appointment, and they would be because they are a reflection of me.
They are.
So
Absolutely.
I trust hands down that if they filled in my spot, they would be a positive reflection of me. So I know that some other teams have the desire to grow and just be the biggest team, and I don't think, maybe it works for them. I think that for me it could backfire in a sense that not everyone's going to reflect your brand the way you want them to, and it could backfire. And I know countless people that I've worked with that have said, oh, I tried this big team and I got this person, and clearly they were a new agent going by themselves, and they just didn't have a great experience. So
do you, because I've seen this happen a few times too, do you ever ask your other team members to interview a potential new team member? Do you bring them in on that decision to help with the culture? Yeah, so they have a big say at this point, because I respect them all so much, and they're like they're tight. We're tight. Yeah. So if they really didn't like somebody or didn't good reason, didn't work, with good cause, because they're also nice. They wouldn't just not want somebody on the team for no reason. But if they didn't like somebody or they didn't fit, that would be something that I would seriously think about, and I would have to have a very good reason or see immense value to affect my team's culture like that, because these guys are much more important to me, and keeping them happy and keeping everything as it is, because we've been growing every year, so we have a good thing going. So I don't want to affect that by just hiring another body. And so to answer your question, I do take. I've seen it very negatively affect existing teams, where somebody comes in and I've seen a couple in last year where broke the team all up.
Yeah.
And it's very disruptive.
Yeah.
If you get the wrong person for the rest of your team. If you've got not a huge group, but a nice cohesive group of people who work well together, who have the right mindset, the same thoughts as you do, the same way they want to present the brand, bringing in somebody that's consciously quite different than those things, it can be a big mistake.
Yeah.
It can. And you're already noticing that. You've already talked to that other person about, well, you're a little bit more systems and you want to change this.
Yeah.
When that gets in
Yeah.
to your space and your other people, it can do more damage than it's potentially worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
used to-
I'm glad you
say-
noticed it. I'm
Yeah.
glad
I
you
used to
noticed
say
it.
with groups, when I was working with different groups, is that you could have addition by subtraction. You
Yeah.
remove
Yeah.
somebody and the group
That's
grows, and
so
they
true.
do more,
Yeah.
right? Because they were
Yeah.
held back by a
Yeah, and so tough conversations.
Yeah, they are.
I've gotten better at them because
Good.
for a long time it's like, yeah, anybody can join and just kind of
Yeah, you're finding your feet.
You're finding
find
your feet.
and
Right.
actually what work. But when you've got something great that works, I think it's great that you're being more selective,
Yeah.
and that you're maybe involving the rest of the team in, is this person a good fit for you, good fit for the team, and it not. People are going to do things differently, but they have to keep the major things
Right.
that you want presented the same.
Yes.
You have to have the same mindset.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that sharing mindset and competitive, but constructively competitive with each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah, and so for a while, and why the culture wasn't, it's tough at the beginning to build a team because there's jealousy and, oh, I'm the first person on your team. How are you going to give that person a lead? And things
Oh, all those
things
things.
like that.
Yeah.
There's so many things that come up when you're building a team of different personalities that all are not on a fixed income, and they're all like sink or swim. And so they see the new person getting a lead and they think, well, I've been loyal to you, why aren't you giving it to me? And so a ton of that. And for a while I just kind of danced around things a little bit because there is imposter syndrome that comes up, especially in this business. So when I'm starting a team, and so people are coming and then leaving, and then people want to join the team, and it's like there's so many different feelings that I've had to work through to get to a point of just saying, like, I would like to keep it as it is. And so if we stay a small team, that's great. That's great for me because realistically it is only me. So I'm already here, there, and everywhere. So to follow at what everybody's doing, because I like to be involved in all of the clients that are being serviced, whether it comes from the team member themselves, it's their uncle, aunt, or if it's provided by me. I want to know what's happening. So it's hard. The bigger you get, you physically can't be a part of every transaction. So I think about these big teams. Yes, they have a great brand because they're recognizable, because marketing and et cetera, but they physically can't be a part of those transactions anymore. So they have to give full 100% blind trust in their agents that they're going to carry your message and reflect you in a positive way.
So
and
pick wisely.
And unless, and so I have an eye on what's happening, but the bigger you get, you physically can't.
No, you can't. And that's having the right people, right?
The ones you can trust.
And you've alluded to it and mentioned it so often throughout our conversation here today. Is about that brand, is about they're consistent with the brand, right? And you mentioned that before we started filming, was that there has to be that consistency across all branding.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you are, who's in it. So talk, if you don't mind. I know we're getting, we're going a little bit over what we normally, but this has been such a great conversation.
Yeah, of
so
course.
we don't mind going long.
Me neither.
So I'm just curious of that branding because, as I mentioned to you, because you first caught my eye when I first got into the business. I was living in Burlington. I have a couple good friends in the business. And so, I was paying attention to what was happening, and your stuff was very consistent. I mentioned there was that, I'll call it touch of luxury.
Yeah.
Right? But everything I've seen you do has been classy, has been, I want to say, neat's not really the word, but it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
not chaotic. It's
Yes,
a
thank you.
simplicity.
It's clean.
It's clean.
I call
It's
it clean.
elegant.
That's
elegant.
nice. Thank you. Wow, that's
It's sort of
so
an elegant
nice.
brand, but
Yeah.
People want to junk up their message
Yeah,
too
yeah.
much.
but
Less is more.
you've made sure that your team members stick to that because,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, you spend a lot of money,
Oh yes, lots.
right? So they damn well better stick
Yeah,
to it.
yeah.
But because you paid somebody for the expertise, they gave it to you, much like we want our clients to rely on our expertise and do what we say.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have to follow them. But
Yep.
has there been pushback, or what was that part of your thought process? Like, no, everybody has to stick to this. Like, how did that evolve and come about?
Yeah, so when I first was branded, essentially, like I said, it's easy to follow the brand on a day-to-day basis because I work for the company. They're quadruple the price that probably a branding is, but I wanted to take it so seriously, just like all the big brands that you would notice. Like I was like, I want a true brand, not just a color palette.
Right.
And so we went through a series of interviews. And so how do you make a brand that reflects your actual voice? So when I get behind the camera on my social media, which I do, and I tell stories, that needs to be cohesive to my actual billboard and my brand. Like everything needs to tie in, right? So if I have a classy looking brand, but I go on camera and I'm swearing, like it needs to be cohesive. And so part of the brand and furthering the brand is finding people that have the same values and voice and way of doing things as I do so that it's easy to follow the brand. So I think that since it speaks to who I am as a person, you find people alike, and then again it's also could be a reflection of them because they're similar to me. But I do have brand guidelines. Anything that goes out like a newsletter or something, they have free reign to make their own newsletter and plug and play and whatever, but it needs to fit. So I approve it, and 99% of the time I approve it. And they can, switch things up, get their own photo, etc. But yes, I have had definitely some times where people didn't want the brand and they wanted themselves. And that's fair because I was on a team and I wanted to further my name. So I understand that in some agents, you want to grow your own name, and then some agents are happy making their, whatever they're making on the team and just being a part of that name. So there's two different ways. So I've had to have some, again, tough conversations, and it has caused, it definitely causes a little bit of a storm in the team when somebody's not following the brand because these guys over here also feel like it's disrespectful.
Right.
So you find the people that really respect it and value the brand and like the brand, and these people end up, falling away.
Yeah.
But I think to really build a brand, you have to find people that respect it and like it, and I let them
buy into it.
and have ideas too. Like we're constantly growing as a brand and let's do this, or how do you like this? Hey, let's change this font. And so because they feel like they're a part of it and not just somebody that has to listen to Brooke's brand, but rather they own it as well. Yes, it's my name, but it's their brand too.
Right.
They respect it more.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like you were saying about that lady that wanted to add a little bit of color here and a little bit here
Yeah.
and there. It leaches into your brand, and eventually, if it's unchecked, it takes over. And then you've got those other unhappy team members,
Yeah.
and then you've got a bigger problem. So
Yeah.
one thing team leaders don't always like to do, which it seems like you found your voice, is have those very difficult
It's hard.
conversations.
It's hard. I'll
because
admit.
not all team leaders are good managers of people.
Yeah.
So where they don't do paperwork, they also don't manage individuals very well either. And it sounds like you've found your voice and you know what you want, and you're able to stay true to that, which is a talent in of
Thank you.
itself.
Thank you.
To do that, because not all of them do.
I don't
And-
pretend I'm somebody that I'm not anymore, which is like, come join this team and I'm going to
Yeah.
this and all this stuff. Like, look how great I am.
Yeah.
I know. And so I'll have that conversation of,
Yeah.
I actually can't provide you what I think you might be looking for, but I know a lot of teams that do.
Right,
They doesn't mean they're more successful or I'm more successful. We just do things differently.
that's right.
And so I
Yeah.
think those are important things.
But that, if I could sort of give some words of wisdom to any other team leaders that are out there watching this, that is a very simple solution to a lot of their problems, is to head it off at the pass and say, look, You know, these are the things you want, these are the things we do, this is how we do it. This might not be a good fit for you, but I'm happy to send you over to another team that might work well for you.
Yeah.
You have to know what your path is in order for it to be successful.
Agreed.
And
Yeah.
it's hard because it's,
It is hard, but the weight of the pressure, which I don't necessarily feel as much anymore, but when a new team member would join,
Yeah.
I would feel like the weight, and I would want to give to them and show them that I'm of value because it was a new
Right.
team. So it's like I need to prove to this person why being under Brooke Hicks was the right decision.
No,
So
reverse
I'd-
that.
Yeah, so
Flip that.
yeah, so that was a big change, and so recently I don't feel that pressure anymore.
'Cause you flipped
But
it.
at the beginning, I was wearing these different hats, and whatever they needed, I'd be like, okay, well, let's provide that to you, and let's do this, and I was running in circles, and so now I'm just like, I actually don't think and I will be clear, I don't think I'm the right fit for you because I'm running 1,000,000 miles an hour all days. And the people that do well on my team and the people that I have right now know that, and they're running with me. And so that's how we succeed rather than them being told what to do. And some people don't take to that approach, but some people do. And like I was talking about the girl that's been coming up on 2 years. I never sat down with her or trained her, did anything, and she's doing so good. And so, you know, it's like, I'm running. If you want to come with me, like, come. Like, you
Run.
just catch up. You know,
Yeah.
like, come.
Yeah.
Rather than the other way.
Yeah, very good advice.
I was going to say, you know, it's interesting. We've talked about this before, but you are the brand.
Yeah,
And so
that's my
you know,
world. Brooke is the emotional brand. Her brokerage is her team support and another brand, and then the bigger brand on that on top. So, but she's the brand.
Yeah, you are the brand.
are the
and so
brand.
when you say, hey, this is what my brand looks like, I can't be cursing and swearing,
Yeah.
can't be doing this. And it's just the same. The people you bring on are part of that brand.
brand.
So do they represent the brand? So when you're looking at choosing somebody,
Yeah.
that should be a part of it is what's my brand? And
Yeah.
it's funny when you
Yeah.
use the
No,
word, I
it's
can't curse it. I had this team we have this team, because I don't want to identify them.
How come we have them when they're bad?
No, because I don't want to identify them. No, but I have a team leader who says they had this person on their team, and it's, oh, you mean trucker mouth? Because the way they would talk, and that was not part of the
No.
brand they wanted,
No.
right?
No.
But it's so true is you got to be careful in who you select because that does affect your brand.
Yeah.
It's not just the billboards. It's just not the social media.
No, they're walking reflections of you, even in their personal life.
Well, thank you for saying that. So here's the
Yes.
thing. So many people think that they can post their personal life on Facebook and it doesn't get reflected in their business life on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. You know,
Yeah.
there is a line there and it can't be crossed because
Yeah.
whatever you post on, that is you and your brand.
Yeah.
And those people are your brand
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So that's got to get cleaned up sometimes.
That's why it's so important
Yeah.
to find a brand or to brand yourself true to yourself and like
Yes.
as authentic as possible. Otherwise, you're living two separate lives.
right.
Because no matter what I'm doing, I'm like myself, which is my brand. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not in a professional world, and then being somebody else over here.
No.
And then because that would get tiring.
It's tiring, but
That-
it
yeah.
also, you can't avoid it because nowadays when somebody's looking to list their home or go and buy a home, they're looking at all social media.
Totally.
And when party girl or party guy
Yeah.
shows up on the beach with 2 beers in the hand,
Yeah.
and then you're looking at that, well, is that somebody that I'd like to list my house with?
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
sure
true.
about that. And no
Yeah.
matter how good the other part is, they can't get that vision
Right.
out of their head. I always think
Yeah.
about it when I'm looking for a lawyer. If you're looking for a lawyer, would you go with and you work for a lawyer, so sorry if that's
And
close to
was
home.
married
but-
to one.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Been
But-
there, done that.
But I'm not looking for the one that has the best ads and
Yeah.
or the catchiest and the jingliest ads. I'm looking for somebody whose track record out there in social media shows that they can get the job done.
100%.
That's what I'm looking for.
100%.
So it's very important that social, business, it's all the same.
And this is
all the
also
same.
an industry, though, when you think about it, is that you're getting intertwined into a family life.
Yes.
into the family's life because they have kids and we're talking about kids and we're talking about their pets. I go in to buy a car. We're talking about the car. It's not about his family, my family.
Yeah.
Other than he goes, do you have kids? Like, what do you
Right.
need
Yeah.
to? What are you hauling around? Type
Yeah.
of thing. But otherwise, we don't get into the family aspect. But you do in real estate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and as I remember, we had a speaker. This was about 3-4 years ago. Well known, she spoke, Giselle Ugardi. I don't know if you know who she is, but she spoke at Inman and a number of other big events. And we had her. We paid to have her here to speak to our agents. And she was saying that like when you go in and somebody starts asking, because you're asking about their family, and they start asking about your family, you gotta say, no, sorry, this is just business.
Oh.
Or then when you're
She-
talking to people
yeah.
in a friendly
Yeah.
environment and they ask you about the market, you say, no, this
Yeah.
is just
Yeah,
personal.
yeah, exactly.
No, you don't.
No.
It's so intertwined.
It's so intertwined.
So it blows my mind when people are wanting to have a separate business versus personal.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you tell me it's just so that I post a lot of stuff of my kids and I don't want that
Yeah.
public, fantastic. I
Yeah.
understand that. But you have to have a little bit of everything because
Totally.
you are the brand. And so I want to see that personal side. That's why a lot of my
Totally.
stuff is family. It's family oriented,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Business, but also family oriented and like to have some fun.
Totally.
Right?
Well,
That's
it
exactly
shows,
what
it shows
that's how
who
I
you are,
portray
yeah.
myself.
But I never could get over the agents that spent so much time improving their look and their brand, and they got dead, drunk
Oh,
on the
man.
streets of their place where they lived. And I'm like, dude, this doesn't work. Do you not
No.
realize that people are watching you? And I think that's the one thing. People are watching you all the time. 100% of the time. And maybe they're not saying anything to you yet, but they're watching, they're looking. I had one
Yeah.
agent say
They're
that to me on
talking with you.
Friday.
Yeah.
I said, so-and-so's here and so-and-so's here. She goes, Lynn, she said, I watch. I know who's there. She said, and I went, okay, fine. But you see, I
That's
was even
funny.
forgetting that
Yeah.
they're watching.
Totally.
and they're watching you and they're watching your team.
Yeah, Shannon, my sister, she's also an agent, and she doesn't do much. She likes the salary.
Doesn't do much in real estate.
Yeah,
But
she
she works in it.
could.
She
She
does
could.
Does a
Yeah.
lot though.
Yeah, she does. Sorry. Yeah,
We're
she doesn't do
talking
much.
Shannon up here because
Yeah.
we love you, Shannon. No.
Yeah, it's so funny. She does. Yeah, she does a ton. I would not be where I am without her. But
Right.
she doesn't do much day-to-day real estate, like
Yes.
sales,
Yeah,
is
right.
what
Yeah.
is what I meant.
No, I know.
But sometimes she does, and I think she's great at it. But she just prefers being
That's
on
right.
the computer. And anyways, different personalities. But she sometimes does leases, and she went to go meet a landlord or some. No, she went to go show a home for a prospective tenant, and the landlord was there, happened to be there. It's not usually the case. And so she gave him her card, and he said, "Oh, Hicks, are you part of Brooke Hicks?" And she says, "Yes." And he started commenting on our dad. "Oh, your dad is so funny." And so we're like, wow, like just this person that we have no idea knows my dad, because I
Yes.
post my dad a lot because I think he's hilarious,
right.
and it gets a lot of engagement. And it was like an eye opener. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
there's random people that you don't know
Are watching.
are watching. And comments on our father
Yes.
by the last
Yes.
name. So that was
Yeah.
a crazy. I was
Yes.
like, wow, that's
interesting.
It's a little
That's
bit creepy,
crazy.
but it's a
yeah,
reality.
yeah.
It's a reality that
Yeah.
people are watching, good, bad, or indifferent, but they're watching, and they're watching what your example. What's the saying? More is caught than taught.
Interesting.
That's what your
Wow.
kids do. More is caught than taught.
Yeah.
They watch what you do, not what you say.
Yeah.
So, advice, keep it up, keep up that good work, keep up that
Yeah, yeah.
standard that you've developed so that you protect yourself and people can watch
Yeah.
what you're doing
Yeah.
and know when it's time. You may not talk to them for months. When I was selling, it might be 2 years before somebody finally made their mind up to
Yeah.
buy something. But they kept watching.
Yeah.
And they kept paying attention. And when they were ready,
Totally.
then they'll call you and your team
Yeah. Yeah.
based on all the good
And they
things
feel
you've
like they
done.
know you too.
Of course
That's-
they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a big thing that I've
Yeah.
noticed, is because
You're
I'm not
recognizable.
afraid to post a lot of my personal
Mm-hmm.
life on there. I will say that right now, in a market that's tough for sellers,
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes feel a little bit when I'm posting my personal life because the sellers are like, why isn't my house selling? And you're out here.
It's
like,
not your responsibility. The
I know,
market
I
is
know.
not your, you don't control
Yeah.
the market.
But
I know.
no, I get the.
I have that feeling where I'm like,
understand,
ooh,
but
I shouldn't be having fun when they're so
No.
stressed. But no, I totally get that.
Yeah.
But they feel like they know me. And so when I walk into a listing appointment, if they were following me, it's one foot in the door.
That's right.
Rather than having, because I used to have a Brooke Hicks realtor and then Brooke Hicks.
Yeah.
And then the realtor page was for sale. So there's no human,
Yeah.
my ring, there's no human
Yeah.
aspect
Right.
to it. And so you could have the prettiest brand in the world and the most aesthetically pleasing, but unless you have the videos that showcase your personality or testimonials or interviews or podcasts, people,
There's no there.
exactly. Yeah.
There has to be some depth to
Yeah.
it, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what you've created. Yeah, I think you're doing a fantastic job with that. It's very
That's
good.
so nice.
Yeah.
And last
Thank you.
question for Brooke. Anything?
Last question.
Well, just is there anything you haven't asked that you
I think
wanted to
there
ask?
is. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years. Okay, so I've commonly, or I guess recently, had a couple meetings with my old team leader who's still, I would consider a mentor. So just a side note, if anybody if my word of advice to anybody is make sure you have a mentor. You can't do it all by yourself. Anyway, so I meet with him still, and he kind of opened my eyes to the fact that real estate has been my sole world for the past however long. I'm 31 years old now, and I've just not really had time to focus on, I'm going to, have a family, have children, and I want to do that. And that'll just be the next chapter in real estate too, where, working with mothers with young kids and, you evolve as a person and your business evolves with you. So I definitely have the idea that, okay, I'm 31, I do want kids, I am single, I've just been so focused on my business for so long that I don't want to neglect that part of my life. So that is definitely something that even my parents, they're like, what are you doing?
Well, they ask you that all the time.
What are you doing? We want grandchildren. So that's where I see my personal life going, is I definitely want to spend some more time building like an actual life outside of real estate. In terms of the team, I do see it continuing to grow and additions slowly. I think that I do want to remain a boutique style team. So again, back to strategically adding people when necessary.
Good.
And then some of the senior agents taking on more of the role of overseeing some things. Like, I don't want to step out by any means. I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And I just see it growing at a steady pace. I do want to ramp up the marketing. I think this is the time and the market to ramp it up. So you're making less dollars, so go spend more on marketing. It's really how you need to look at it. The market's slowing down, so a lot of people are going to cut back on their expenses and their buses and their billboards, and this is where you pick up market share.
Right.
So I think the next couple of years are going to be pretty key for real estate teams in picking up market share. So I think that furthering the marketing and ramping that up is something on our plate that we want to start doing, more socials and more videos, more billboards. I just started a new campaign. Adding slowly but surely, and then just another little avenue that I'm kind of jumping in and foresee in the next 5 years, I guess, is the investment approach that I've been doing, like flipping houses. I have a building in Toronto we're converting into 14 units. It's currently 10, and then doing a CMHC refinance. And then I have a house closing in Barrie in February. We're converting into 4 units. So it's essentially densification with the new bill C-63.
Yep.
So taking advantage of that, and then also helping people take advantage of investment real estate too. I noticed that the more I got involved in flipping a house and doing videos, when the market was slow, I think that clients found that, her focus lies elsewhere. So I kind of brought it, I pulled it back a little bit. But I do have a passion in that, because real estate can become pretty redundant. pretty repetitive. So I do like to add new skills and new ways to educate people and open myself up to new client bases of somebody that wants to,
More streams.
buy a building and more streams of real estate. So I want to continue doing that. Maybe not as loud because I want my clients to know that real estate is my focus. But I want to further, because even I have so much to learn in that space. So I see, the investment arm of my business and why I've hired Dave is his name, the male. So he's big on commercial. So I want to open that arm of the business, continue the marketing and ramp up, add agents slowly but surely and be strategic, and then have some time to focus as well on my personal life that has only been real estate for the past 10 years.
I've worked
There you
with so
go.
many young women, and real estate is a great business for women because you can take your baby to the showing.
Yeah,
You can take
that
your
would be me.
baby. Yes, and
That
I've
would be
had
me.
many of them do that out of necessity, but there's also something very sweet and vulnerable and human about taking your kids places and not
Totally.
letting your business drop down because you
No.
have a couple of little ones in tow.
Yeah.
So you can easily do that.
Oh, yeah. I'd be
with
the
no-
agent that comes with
Yeah.
the baby.
Oh,
we,
yeah.
we literally
So
have an agent that just gave
I have
birth
one.
like
Yeah.
the first week into January,
yeah.
and it was like, oh, my clients have been good, but she was out going to go stage a
Yeah.
property.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah,
Like
that
a
would be
week
me.
after.
Yep.
Yeah, you had a baby, you
Okay.
didn't die.
God bless you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no,
I know
I
that
know,
did
I
die,
know,
but-
I know. It's so funny.
God bless you.
I know.
I
Yeah.
mean it. As I always do when we have a guest on, last word goes to you. Is there anything we didn't ask that you would like to share with an agent out there when it comes to whether it's building a team, branding, or anything else that you'd like to share that we didn't ask?
I don't know. It's a hard business, and if you're struggling right now, I also share in that struggle. Just because I have a team and on social media and everything looks perfect from what we put out there, but there's been times where in the past month that I've had tears, and it's like, how do I move forward? And that's just that's a feeling that comes with being an entrepreneur. If you're not lying awake in bed saying, how am I going to continue this, and what am I going to do, then this business isn't cut out for you, and it is a tough market. And
It is.
you know, I heard something the other day. It's interest gets you started, passion furthers you or continues your education, will propel you forward, but pain tolerance will keep you there.
Yep.
And this is definitely a market that has a lot of pain, whether it's a seller that is experiencing that pain and you have to be
Yeah.
there for them,
Yeah.
or, just having a hit to your business, or things not paying off and you're investing and it's just not working. There's definitely more pain than many years. And if you can get through that and know that all things change and have the confidence in yourself that this will change, you'll survive. And there will be a lot that don't, unfortunately.
Yep.
There will be.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing today. We appreciate you coming in,
Thank you.
being authentic and
Yeah.
sharing of what you've gone through. So it's been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thanks,
having
Brooke.
me.
Yeah, it's
That
been
was
great.
lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So thank you to all of you for joining us this week, and special thank you to Brooke Hicks. And she said there is going to be some pain. You're going to go through some ups and downs, and that's how you grow. And if you're not feeling a little bit, then you're not growing. And so it's important to make sure to embrace that and keep going. We wish you all the best in your sales, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Business of Real Estate podcast with Lynn Hoffman and Eric Johnson.